Stage 5 at Paramount Studios in Hollywood, California. Moving into an area known as Production Park on the lot. Coming up on our left, ladies and gentlemen, is the office of the legendary producer Robert Evans. You know Robert Evans for producing the Godfather films and Chinatown. This is still his office to this day. Prior to Robert Evans occupying this office, it was once the office of Jerry Lewis. Prior to Jerry Lewis occupying this office and bungalow, belonged to the great legendary Bing Crosby, who during his time here, particularly in the 50s, on Friday afternoons would hire caterers to come in and dress this entire area up with bars and food stations so that the stars, the people working that day, could come out here into this lovely park area and have snacks, cocktails, prior to going home for the night. Production Park here. Alfred Hitchcock's office is right there behind that tree to the right. And this building here, known as a dressing room building, was the dressing room building to all the stars that were under contract to Paramount. Number 105 there to the left of the pillars was Elvis Presley's dressing room. 108 straight ahead between the pillars was William Holden. But let's focus a little bit here on suite number 109. This dressing room belonged to several of the iconic stars here, particularly female stars. Clara Bow, Betty Hutton, and Grace Kelly. Let's take a step inside. So if Miss Hutton or Miss Bow or Miss Kelly, if this were their dressing room, this is the area that the people would have come to that were being received or being expected. They would have walked through this door here. This is where the secretary / assistant would have been located, in this room here. And then once they were registered here, they would then be moved into the private quarters of the actress. So this room would have had a sofa and a sitting area to have tea or cocktails. And then back here would have been the actual dressing room itself. This would have been where Betty Hutton, Grace Kelly, or Clara Bow, amongst others, would have actually had a dressing table, a bed to rest on, of course, as always, a wet bar, and of course, the restroom, which looks nothing like a day that was the shower. Gary. So this would have been the dressing room to these ladies. This is where, like I said, this would have been the private area here. In those days, a star was under contract to a studio, so of course, the studio had to provide them with housing on the lot. Not that they stayed here or spent the night here. Shelley Winters wrote in her autobiography that the studio, Paramount, frowned upon people sleeping overnight at the studio. But this is just where they could come and have, they would have their fittings here sometimes. So Edith Head might be bringing Grace Kelly's gowns here to be fitted or measured here if she didn't go over to the wardrobe building. But this would have been the view they would have had looking out the window into the park area. And at that time in the 1950s, particularly, well, let's just say through the studio's history, some of the artists that were here were Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Mae West, of course, huge Paramount star. Then through the 1950s and 60s, when the studio system changed, just about everybody came and worked at all these various studios. The biggest stars in town. So signing off from Hollywood, California. Here's your sneak peek into a movie star's bungalow.